Hello, welcome back. Oh shoot, I forgot my gloves. I was getting so smart. Okay, one second. Let me get my gloves, then we're gonna get started. Right back. Okay, I'm back with the gloves. I remembered last time, forgot this time. Okay, I'm not sure how long I'll be streaming today. My daughter's on break. It's her summer vacation. So I promised her we're gonna do something in a little bit, so I'm gonna get to drawing. Okay, so where we left off on Thursday, we were over here in this corner working on this kind of fun rope ladder that's connecting the two tree tops coming out of our camels. So I'm thinking we'll just have a lot of fun and just kind of add and see where this drawing goes. I just announced on Instagram my LA show's last day is this Saturday, and I'm going to be doing an art talk. So if anybody is near LA or around LA area, I'll be doing a talk at noon at the Laura Schlesinger Gallery. I'll be talking about all the pieces up in that show, and there's a lot of pieces up in that show. So I'll just kind of be there for a couple hours answering questions and talking a little bit about the meaning behind the works there, specifically the large works there. So that will be fun, and it's also kind of bittersweet because that means the show is coming down. So, you know, we work so hard on these shows, and then they're up for, you know, a couple weeks, and then they go, and things will go up to the next show. So it's getting there, one more week. But the talks are always nice because it gives me a chance to really talk about the artwork and go into a little bit deeper meaning behind the artwork, and one-on-one answer specific questions that people have that have seen the work while it was up. And some of the questions are just really fantastic, and they also help me too because I'm very insulated with how I draw, and I know the meaning, the reason I'm drawing it, but it's becoming important to me to hear the feedback from people and seeing what they take from the drawings too. And it's the same importance in my mind as my initial meaning when people can derive their own meaning from it. So I really enjoy listening to that, to people telling me what they see in the artwork and why they see it. And it really opens my eyes and has me switch perspectives, which is really helpful in creating new work. Hello. So I'm just kind of finishing up this corner a little bit, and oh, where's my eraser? I must have dropped it. I had a really good eraser I just pulled out to put up here, and then promptly lost it, which I feel like has been my day today. Ah, there it is. Oh my gosh, I almost fell. You don't need to see that. Here we go. Okay. So we're working on these little guys. Having fun, and since I had so much fun with that, I've just kind of been sketching out a whole bunch of little guys to do down here. So let's just start working on them. This creature, I don't know what it is. I kind of was thinking like a weasel type little creature with kind of a long body and short legs. Oh, thank you. You saw me at Crystal Bridges. That's awesome. Did you see me draw live there? I think that drawing went like almost 60 feet. That was so much fun. Well, thank you for joining me. Now you get to see me work on a smaller drawing, which is kind of similar to when I do the large murals. I wonder if I should, let me zoom in so you can see how tiny this little guy is. There he is. Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much. That's so cool that you're joining me here. And it's fun because you can see how tiny. Here's my pencil lead tip here. So I'm doing what I did at Crystal Bridges, just tiny, tiny, tiny version right now. Those were like, 6, 7, 8 foot tall drawings on the wall, and these are, tiny little drawings on this composition, but same idea. Obviously a slightly different way of doing it, but very similar in concept. And I'm coloring it darker here because he's going to be standing in his shadow, so I'm kind of going in between the toes here. I wonder if you can see that, or I should zoom in even tighter. Oh, wrong way. Let's see if it can get into focus. There we go. There we go, our little gopher weasel character. Thank you. This has kind of been a really fun drawing because just kind of recuperating from the past basically almost a year of prepping for this big exhibition I have now here in LA. And I was live streaming a couple drawings that ended up going to that show. And then this drawing just kind of came in response to that show, where I just wanted to really be creative, have fun, keep it kind of light, and just enjoy the process a little bit before I start working on the next exhibition. He drew like a little spider on his back because not too long ago a spider ran right across my desk, and I said, I thought they're grossly misrepresented by my artwork because I do have a little bit of a fear of spiders, and even drawing them sometimes kind of freaks me out. So I was like, I really need to work on conquering some of that. So here's my little spider guy. My little therapy for the day here, facing one of my fears. Sitting on this little gopher guy. It's so funny. Now, as soon as I get my gloves on, I realize like, oh, something's itchy, and I'm gonna get charcoal all over my face. It's okay. It's okay. I got a package at the door. Hold on one second. They didn't bark. Yay. My excellent guard dogs. Hi, Robin. Thanks for joining. Got an exciting package right now, and the dogs didn't bark, which is extra exciting because normally they go bananas when somebody's at the door. But it is nap time, so... Oh my gosh, the roof is just settled right back in. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's starting to come together. Let me zoom out so you can see it better. So right now we're just kind of in that little bottom corner, but I have some fun sketching and things that I've done around it that we're going to try to work on today. Let me zoom back in. There we go. camera is awesome because you can really zoom in so tight and see all the line work in here. And there's that little spider facing my fears. I'm gonna try to incorporate a little bit more insects into my artwork. I think they're a great way to tell a story, and they're kind of real fun to play around with scale. So I'm working on it. Spiders have a really hard time. This one's not so bad because it's really small. I'm not looking at details, but when I'm looking at details of a spider, oh, sometimes I really struggle. I get the heebie-jeebies while I'm drawing it. Oh, thanks. It does kind of look like a lion cub, huh? That's my Albus. I don't know where he is. He's usually out here when I'm out here. Who knows? Cats sense when you want them to do something and they leave. I know. Spiders is a tough one for me, too. And I appreciate their role in the natural kingdom, and I wish them well. I just don't want them in my home. I do have some daddy longlegs that live in this house that have been here for a long time, and I carefully go around them when cleaning or moving stuff because I feel like they're inside spiders. And I'm a little bit bananas, but I was gardening the other day, and this spider was black and it was fuzzy and it was hopping, and that thing petrified me. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Khare. Oh, that's a great way of putting it. Animalscapes. Oh, very cool. Thank you for that awesome description. I always think of it as kind of just telling a story. Well, obviously narrative about telling a story visually, but kind of how the ideas pop into your head. It's like creative writing or anything like that. That's kind of what I think about when I draw, and what inspires me in that moment. A lot of times with my large work, it's this big concept, like my big pool party drawing that's up at the gallery, the one that's 20 plus feet. That's a lot. That was about climate change and what would happen if animals were all kind of thrown in together in this environment that they wouldn't normally be in together. And then in between those big concepts are these little vignettes and these little stories that could be about what happened this morning, or a response to a friend, or a response to a family member, or a response to kind of watching the news, because goodness gracious. Oh, new person. Hi, Happy Z. That's a cute heart. So these fun little guys down here, and that's about as big as I'm willing to draw a spider right now. I did a really detailed tarantula drawing for this show, and I was like, no one's gonna want it. And it was like the first one that sold in that show, so it was really funny. Because some people really like spiders, and they're fascinating. Fascinating creatures. Just can't have them necessarily on me, but I do humane catch and release. I won't kill them, but I'll scream a lot and get them in a cup, and scream a lot and then get them outside. It's a whole ordeal. Okay, so I'm moving this direction here. Let me move this up so you can see. So this is still quite a small detail. These are all really detailed. It's kind of sketched out. So these are kind of fun. These are like 3 different types of cats. This is some kind of jaguar-y thing. And then a real fuzzy cat, and then a long skinny cat. All different types of cats kind of represented in the same little, I think, living sculpture, which I really like. saying that, and maybe it would be okay with you if I got to use that when I spoke, Al Curry, if that's okay with you. That living sculpture thing really is resonating with me. So with your permission, I'd love to maybe use that in one of my talks or when I describe the artwork. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the bits, Happy Z. That's awesome. So I'm gonna get in here, and this is actually really small, and my point is not sharp enough to get into the details. Okay, so I'm gonna get in here now and see if I got a sharp enough point. There we go. So I got the tail of this guy here, kind of sitting on top of the frog here. So I'm gonna tone out his back leg. I'm gonna push that back. I'm gonna pull this frog leg out in front. Hi, Kiki Cat. An elephant to the left or an anteater? Which way are you looking? Oh, this one right here, Kiki Cat. This is my version of a tapir or tapir. I don't really recall the correct pronunciation for the animal. Yeah. So it's Tapir, South American tapir. Oh, thanks. Yeah, we kind of changed it around. Yes, you're right in saying elephant because his nose naturally probably would have ended about here, and I elongated it, but their toes do look like this. They kind of have more of a flat foot than an elephant and pointier toes than an elephant, so that's pretty accurate. The body shape's pretty accurate. The ears I elongated just a bit. Somebody's at my front door. Maybe it's an old message. Oh, thanks. Yeah, and of course I had to add kind of his more humanoid eyes there, but they have very expressive faces. So I'm in here right now just with my Q-tip, just gonna like tone it out a bit. Just a little bit, because I just sketched these out, so I want to just bring a little bit of tone in here, and you can see how I'm just using the tip of this Q-tip here. And I'm not even using the pencil, and this is a great way, I always say, to non-committal way of sketching in a drawing, because anything that I blend with this is not going to really leave a mark. Here we go. Ah! That's so funny. Well, I have been doing it a long time, but Q-tips do make it look kind of easy. Oh, you know what? The light just changed. It got dark outside. Let me turn. I have a light. That might be better. There we go. Okay, I think that's better now. It just all of a sudden the clouds just kind of turned it really dark outside. I was just about to say we finally have a sunny day, and then that. So I'm glad I didn't say it. Oh, well, thank you. That's very kind. I have been drawing since I was a little kid, and I never really stopped because it always made sense to me to be drawing. So I feel very grateful that I've always had something that no matter where I was, what I was doing, if I could get a pencil and a paper, I always felt like I'd be okay. It really helped me get through school, and now as an adult, that's really drives me forward every day. I just want to keep getting better and keep doing more. And I've been actually enjoying a little thing on the side. I've been people have been getting my artwork as tattoos for many years since I've been drawing, and they usually pick a drawing of mine that they like, and then they ask permission to do it as a tattoo. But recently, I've been doing a lot more tattoo designs, and that's been a ton of fun. So I meet with people, and of course it's usually in my genre. My artwork wouldn't be a tattoo, like a traditional tattoo style necessarily, but we talk a lot about symbolism, and since I work in symbols, it's really fun for me to get, people say, oh, this symbolizes my daughter, this symbolizes my mom, this symbolizes my dad, and I want them to work in a way to tell like this story. So when I look at the tattoo, I think of these things. And so I've been doing that now, kind of on the side for fun in between my shows, and I have to say I'm really enjoying that. It's so personal, and also because I really enjoy the symbolism in it, and finding like creative compositions, using people's symbolism to tell their own story. So that's been kind of really fun and rewarding. So I'm gonna continue to be doing that, and maybe I should collect the ones I'm working on, and maybe I'll do a Twitch and talk about. I'll get permission obviously from the people who they're for, because some of them are very personal tattoos, and then kind of share how I do tattoo design as well. Let me zoom out so you can kind of see a little bit more. Here we go. So here's the majority of the drawing. I'm just kind of working right down here in this little corner. Here we go. So I gotta be really careful too when I erase in here, because it's so small. So I always erase a bigger area, then I have to come in and kind of redraw that area. The little mono eraser for that? Oh, is that a type of eraser? Mono eraser? But yeah, you're right. I probably shouldn't be using my giant block eraser to erase a tiny little corner. But that's me just not wanting to get up, because I'm like, oh, I'll just erase more and then redraw around it. Probably not the most efficient, again, but I'm so used to doing it. Oh, okay. I'll look that up. Happy. Do I know of anyone named Zach? Um, no, not off the top of my head. Or no, anyone named Zach? Hmm. I knew a Zach when I was teaching. I think that's the last Zach I know, or I'm aware of. So I got this little guy. Now I'm going to try to get in between his toes just a little bit. Just adding some spots on this frog. Okay, move this just a little bit. I'm going to add spots, I think, to this jaguar-y thing. But first I'm going to do the shading, kind of where the muscles and the legs would be first, and then I'll add the spots on top. Got his little face going on this tiny, tiny little cat here. It's really getting small in there. You can see my pencil. So this guy's about the size of my sharpened pencil right there. The top of the sharpened pencil. I feel like I'm kind of an extreme person. It's either 30 feet of drawing or this tiny little. But my favorite thing to do is on my 30-foot drawing have a whole bunch of these little guys kind of in there. I really like the juxtaposition of scale. This little jaguar-y guy. Oh my gosh, don't my hands sweat? Oh my gosh, terribly. A lot of times when I'm working in this big studio and it's really hot in there, the sweat will like literally drip down, and it's just so kind of gross. But I wear either long sleeves to soak up the sweat as it drips out, or I'll get paper towels and actually like dry it as it comes out. Yeah, they absolutely sweat in there. Yeah. But they also keep the paper safe, and I like the texture on these. They have kind of like a, you can't, there's no way you'll be able to see it, I don't think, but it's got almost this like tiny, I mean, they're kind of grippy, right? Because they're medical gloves. So they kind of are really cool for blending. And I guess you get used to just having super sweaty hands all the time. They always feel very moisturized. Maybe that's the positive of it. Yeah, in the summer the gloves do get, but in my new studio I'm getting air conditioning. So I haven't had air conditioning ever in my when I was working in the other studio. Um, so all summer long I was just a sweaty mess, and now I get air conditioned, so that won't be such a, you know. Oh, the half gloves. Might be able to get away with wearing the half gloves. It's possible. But to me, it's not really a problem. I'm so used to it. You know, once you get used to something, like I don't really think about it. It's kind of like, it's just like wearing a uniform. You just like, you just put it on and it is what it is. I sometimes work, I have a pair of cotton gloves, and I sometimes work in those. If it's really hot or really bothersome, it's just like a little thin pair of cotton gloves. But I want my fingers covered because that's where I do a lot of the blending, and I don't want any of my oil on my skin or lotion or anything getting on the paper, because then you can have really serious problems with your paper. So my daughter's home from school. She's being really good. She's being quiet in the other room. I'm not gonna make her be quiet too much longer. I said, you can have electronics until I'm off of live streaming, but normally we have to do something else. So she's taking advantage of that. Now I'm gonna add like the little spots on this guy. Now I'm upping the contrast a little bit here. You can see the little spots now, the texture on this little jaguar-y guy. I'm rotating my pencil so I keep getting kind of a sharper edge on it without sharpening it. So I'm slowly kind of rotating it as I'm drawing. And I'm getting like it creates like a sharp edge over and over again. Sometimes that works for a while, sometimes it doesn't, but it's working right now. See kind of the details on him now. Size of paper. Let's see, what size is this? Probably says on the pad. Oh, 14 by 17 inches. "14 by 17, this is about the biggest size I'll work on this little desk on. 18 by 24, I have to go to a bigger desk or draw it on the wall like I do my larger pieces. So that's kind of the in-between size, the 18 by 24s. And then anything over 18 by 24 is usually done on the wall. horse is good. He's doing good. He actually just got vaccinations today, which is no fun, but it only takes a second, and he gets a goodie. So, but other than that, he's doing okay. His foot's about the same. It's kind of a chronic illness that we're working on. But he's in good spirits, and the vet said his like fitness level looks good, and his skin looks good, and his weight looks pretty good. But I get to increase his food just a little bit, because when horses start to get old, they start to get really lean, and it's harder to keep weight on them. So I'm going to increase his food a little bit, so he'll be super happy about that happening. Got these silly strings coming out of his ears, then into the mouth of this guy, and there's like a little swing here. I'm wondering if I can draw something small enough to get into that tiny little swing. I have to get super sharp. Will I get another one? Oh gosh, another horse? No, not anytime soon. There's so much responsibility, and I travel a lot for my shows and for exhibitions, and at his age I have to find somebody to walk him, and he has to get his foot soaked, and there's just so much work that, not with how busy I am with my career right now, but I would consider boarding somebody else's horse in my yard. So I'd still have a horse I could take care of and like watch, and I just love being around them. But I wouldn't have the responsibility of always having to be here for the vets and, you know, take him out and exercise him even in the middle of a busy show season, and feel guilty if I don't get him out, and then I have to hire people to come and do his feet. Like, it's a whole... Like, the dogs and cats are easy. People can come and change the kitty litter, or my dogs can go sit at my mom's house for a week, but the horse is, you know, he needs to be checked on at least a couple times a day, make sure he's okay. And then with all the health issues, it would be a lot. But I'd be very particular who I'd let board in the backyard. They'd have to be a really good owner and a super considerate person too, because we'd be sharing a backyard, and my studio's back there, so it's going to be kind of a real shared space. So I'd have to be very particular about who I boarded to. that's probably a good spot to stop. Yeah, that's probably a good spot to stop for today. And then we'll work on kind of the rest of the areas I've sketched out on Thursday. Stop shaking. It's gotten better because I've hooked it up to the files behind here, but it still shakes a lot. The wind and just this little desk I'm on is really shaky. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining. Oh, bye, Robin. Thanks for coming. So thanks, everybody, for joining. I'll be back on Thursday, and hope you all have a fantastic day, and thanks for spending some time with me. Talk to you later.